Namaskaram to all. After a short break, I think we are restarting our sessions. Chadurmukha Samarambham Vakbhadacharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram Ragadirogan Sadadanushaktan Sheshagaya Prasradan Sheshan Aulsukya Moha Aradidan Jakhana Yopurva Vaidyaya Namostu Tasmai. So, in our last session, we were discussing about, or we were saying something about the Shita Ushna behavior of Vayu, and we concluded that this sort of an inconsistent behavior, as in the case of Vayu, is explained as because of its Yoga Vahita. Yoga Vahi Param Vayu Samyogad Ubhayarthakrit Dahakrit Tejasayuktam Shidakrit Sleshma Samyudam. That is what we concluded. Dahakrit Tejasayuktam. Tejasayuktam Dahakrit Shidakrit Sleshma Samyudam. Sleshma Samyudam Shidakrit. So, but for all practical purposes, as far as the Prakrita Vayu is concerned, we will be considering it as Shitam, and we saw the reasons as well. Why? Now, we know that the authors have tried to identify and explain subtypes of doshas. So now we will be explaining the doshas as if they are explained in the highly conventional manner. When I say that Vayu, we may feel that, okay, it is something, a Karya Dravyam, which is like any other Karya Dravyam on the top of your study table. That is the way in which the explanations will be going on. But you should have a finer understanding what this Vayu is and how that Panchabhautika Khatana of the Sharira is getting classified into three domains, three agencies, and what the Vayu as a dosha is. So that is the deeply embedded in our minds. But still, we will be conversing in a manner that we consider Vayu as something which is so tangible, something which is can be placed on the top of your table. So it is that way that we are going to move ahead. But inside there should be the core concepts of doshas. Now, yes, the five subtypes of doshas. As far as Vayu is concerned, we all know that Pranadibhedad Panjatma Vayuhu. Pranadibhedad Panjatma Vayuhu Pranaha Udanaha Vyanaha Samanaha Apanaha cha. And for Pitta, it is there fivefold. Kabha, it is there for fivefold. And this division, especially of Vayu, is known to many other streams of Indian knowledge tradition. It need not be considered as a Swatantra Siddhanta. Need not be considered as a Swatantra Siddhanta. Many other streams of knowledge tradition of India, it is accepted and even it is explained in multiple ways. Sometimes those explanations differ from the conventional way of explaining these Vayus in Ayurveda. But we, as of now, for the time being, or definitely we will look into the other aspects. It is here that where we are to connect those explanations like Tasmad Bahusrutaha Shastraha, Bahusruta Shastraha. So we should be referring all those aspects. It is not about referring the Western medical literature. Then this classification is actually very interesting. Interesting because the way in which they are named itself is very interesting. The way in which the names of these five Vayus are given, that itself is so fascinating, so interesting. Each name is indicative of the peculiar characteristics of the holder of the name. Here, Vayu. Actually, this Sapnyakaranam should be should be meaningful. The name Namakaranam. Namakaranam is a samskara, isn't it? Namakaranam is a samskara. So there is again a convention how the Namakaranam should be done. It should be indicative of the behavior of the person, but that need not happen all the time. Hmm? Anyway, here it is clearly indicative of the peculiar characteristics of the holder of the name. And see, the name Vayu itself, indicative of its behavior. We have seen it earlier multiple times. See, one of the most famous synonym of Vayu is Anilaha. It is Anilaha. Aniti Jivati Anena iti Anilaha. That is how that word comes. Aniti Jivati Anena iti Anilaha. Dhadu An dhadu. Which means Gati and Jivanam. Gati and Jivanam. Jivati Anena. Then Aniti. That is the Nirukti. And one more interesting aspect of Anila is that Anayati iti Anilaha. So Aniti Anayati iti Anilaha. That is also a very apt Nirukti for that word. Aniti shows the Gati and Jivana Swabhavam. In our context, the Gati is more important for the time being. Anayati means act of making something else move or work. And this idea, that means Aniti Anayati iti Anilaha. This idea is very well reflected in the names of the five subtypes of Vayu. In the five subtypes of Vayu. That is very important. Because you see, the Namakaranam is very important. Namakaranam gives us a lot of clinical ideas. That is also very important. Kaphaha, kena jalena bhalati, kena jalena. So that gives us the complete idea about the nature of kapha. Shlish alingane, shleshma, shlish alingane, tapa santape. So the name is very important, especially the names given in Sanskrit language. It will be equally interesting in other languages as well, but for the time being, we are referring to Sanskrit, that's all. So while we are making clinical discussions and while we are making clinical decisions, the names themselves are going to be very valid, important clues how to approach, what to do, all these things. So now coming to the 5 subtypes of Vayu, let us see how the names depict the idea of the nature of the holder of the name. See, first one is Pranaha. So, first Nirukti could be Prakarshena Aniti iti Pranaha. Prakarshena Aniti iti Pranaha. Something which moves Prakarshena with great speed, with great accuracy. Prakarshata is in terms of speed, accuracy, and range as well. It shows that speed, accuracy, precision, subtleness, all these things are reflected by the word prakarsham. So, prakarshena aniti iti pranaha. Then, prakarshena anayati iti pranaha as well. So, it is something which makes something else, of course, about which it is assigned to. So, makes something else move fastly, accurately, and to its full extent. So when we are considering Vayu and specifically Pranavayu, all these ideas should be rushing to the fore of our clinical discussions. Why are we considering this particular approach? It is because our target is prana. Prakarshena aniti anayati iti pranaha. Then, if you look at the detailed descriptions about pranavayu, especially in Ashtanga Sangraha, we will find very interesting narrative. What is that? It goes like this. Tatra pranaha murdhani avasthitaha. Tatra pranaha murdhani avasthitaha. Then, kandho urascharaha. Kandha urascharaha. Then, buddhindriya hridaya मनोधमनी धारण ष्ठीवन क्षवधु उद्गार प्रश्वास उच्छ्वास अन्न प्रवेशादि क्रियः. So beautiful and so wide. We should look into these aspects very carefully. Once again, tatra pranaha murdhani avasthitaha, which is seated in the head end of the body, operating from the headquarter is murdha, murdhani avasthitaha. Pranaha murdhani avasthitaha. And kandhorascharaha, kandhaurascharaha, kandhacharaha, urascharaha cha takes the privilege of traveling in kandha and uras and delivers some specialized karmas, karma vishesha. Like, what are the specific karmas? Buddhi indriya hridaya manodhamani dharana. In the textbooks, we will find the explanations going like, it holds or possesses buddhi, indriya, hridaya, manas, and dhamani. But looking it from a different perspective, I would like to explain it in a slightly different manner. The difference is I would like to connect the dhamani with each of the previous words. That means buddhi, the dhamani related to buddhi, dhamani is related to indriya, dhamani is related to hridaya, dhamani is related to manas. Not considering dhamani as a separate one. This is very important, I assume, as far as the applied aspects are concerned. So, it possesses or holds the custody of dhamanis related to buddhi, indriya, hridaya, and manas. While explaining other vayus, this will be very crucial, very important. Dhamanis related to buddhi, indriya, hridaya, and manas. They are closely connected. This buddhi, hridaya, indriya, and manas are very closely connected. And they have got functional approximation as well as approximation related to sthana as well. Daishikam. That approximation is also there. So they are working as a unit. Buddhi, Indriyam, Hridayam, and Manas. Then some very evolved functions like, highly evolved functions like Shtivanam, spitting, which is a very highly evolved function. Then Shavadhu, sneezing. Udgaram, burping. Prashwasa, uchwasam, breathing out and in. Annapravesanam, annapravesanam. From the oral cavity or the mouth. Annapravesanam to the annavaha srotas. Annapravesanam to the annavaha srotas, which we otherwise call as swallowing, the act of swallowing, etc. are the karma visheshas of pranavayu. Very important. You look these explanations from a clinical point of view, applied aspects. How to treat a case of bhaktarodham, or how to treat the conditions related to the Vegas like Udgara and Kshavadhu. It has got far-reaching potentials in clinical application. Even while deciding the Aushadha Kalam, which Aushadha Kalam there, I will come to that. I am not going to make some sort of a Shakha Chankramanam at this point, bringing the discussion on Aushadha Kalam here. Now I will confine myself to the explanations of Pranavayu. So that Buddhindriya Mano Hridaya Manodhamani Dharanam, Shtivanam, Kshavadhu, Udgaram, Prashwasa, Uchwasa, Annapraveshadi Kriyaha. It is very important. Now, take the case of Udana, Udanavayu. Udanaha, that is the name. Ud. Ud means Urdhvam. Ud. Urdhvam. So, Ud Urdhvam Aniti Anayati iti Udanaha. Ud Urdhvam Aniti Anayati iti Udanaha. So that Vayu or that type of Vayu which moves upward, and makes things move upward, other things move upward, is known by the name Udana. It's known by the name Udana. That is the peculiar nature of Udana Vayu. In Ashtanga Sangraham, we find the description about Udana as we saw in the case of Prana in Ashtanga Sangraha. What is that? Udanaha urasi avasthitaha. Udanaha urasi avasthitaha. Kandhanasika nabhicharaha. Listen to it. Kandha nasika nabhicharaha. Vak pravritti prayatna urja bala varna sroda prinana dhi dhriti smriti manobodhanadi kriyaha. Listen to the explanation once again. Things are very sophisticated. Udanaha urasi avasthitaha. Okay. Udana is based in Uras. Uras is accepted as the home by Udana. Uras. Then, and it works or operates in Kandha Nasika Nabhicharaha. Kandha Nasika Nabhicharaha. Charaha. Charatvam is not just about movement, but about operations of all types. So, the Vayu which has accepted Uras as its home prefers to operate through Kandha Nasika Nabhi. The range Kandha Nasika Nabhi Charaha. Kandham is, don't think about just an organ. Of course, Kandham is need not be considered as an organ, but it is a desha. Kandha deshe vatisthade. Kandha desha. Kandham Nasika. Nasika, again, the nostrils and the related apparatus of Srotasas. Nabhi. Nabhi is always a very conflicting character or contradictory character. What is Nabhi? Again, it is a desha, not an aveva, the navel area. These sthanas, interestingly, are very important sthanas in, again, some highly evolved functions. Highly evolved functions. That is what we see. Next line, we find Vak pravritti prayatna urja balavarna sroda prinana dhi dhriti smriti manobodhanadi kriyaha. Very fine aspects. Vak pravritti. So these places are related to the Ucharana sthanas. Ucharana sthanam. There is a text called, there are many shastras, granthas, which explain the related to Sangeeta, Vyakarana, etc., etc., which discuss the finer aspects of phonation, Vak pravritti. That is very important. In one text called Sangeeta Ratnakara, Sangeeta Ratnakara documents 5 Uchcharana sthanas. 5 Uchcharana sthanas. Nabhi, Hrid, Kandha, Murdha, and Asya. Nabhi, Hrid, Kandha, Murdha, and Asya. So don't think the Nabhi here as the belly button. The Shariram, as it is conceived in Ayurveda, has a very wide range of understanding. It is not limited to the modern anatomy. Or maybe I think modern anatomy and physiology could be the least connected ones when we try to understand the Shariram as it is really conceived in Ayurveda. This is very important because with the understanding of modern anatomy and physiology, when you try to read and understand the Ayurveda Shariram, you will be trapped. Instead, the Shariram as it is explained in the other knowledge traditions of India, like the one which we find in Yoga Shastram or these sort of speciality subjects like Vyakarana Shastram, Sangeeta Shastram, Natya Shastram, they will be giving you better understanding about the Shariram as it is explained in Ayurvedic textbooks. So here I find the Uchcharana sthanas as Nabhi, Hridayam, Kandham, Murdha, and Asyam in Sangeeta Ratnakara. And with that idea as the background, when we say that this Udana is that Kandha Nasiga Nabhicharaha, and its function is Vak Pravritti Prayatna, it opens up better ideas of understanding. It gives you more space for working with clinical situations. Many other related ideas will be connected to it when you understand that, okay, in the pranayatanam, you find that rasana bandhanam as the pranayatanam. What is this rasana bandhanam? Immediately you take some modern textbook, you need not find anything relevant. And we will find that, okay, the base of the tongue was considered as a pranayatanam in ancient Indian thought, and they were, that's quite stupidity. So all these things require some sort of a background information. Okay, we'll come to our topic. So in our context, we assign these duties of Uchcharana to Udana. That is why we find Vak Pravritti. Pravritti. Pravritti means the manifestation. Manifestation of what? Vak Pravritti. Vak. Manifestation of Vak. Speech or the spoken language. Then Prayatna. Prayatna means effort. More specifically, the effort made for producing sound. Again related to Vyakaranam. Tulyasya prayatnam savarnam. Like that we will find explanations in this regard. Prayatnam is the effort made for producing some specific sounds in terms of its tone, its lightness, heaviness type of nuances, differences, etc. Then Urja. Urja means, the word meaning is energy, power, strength. But generally, the word urja is used to represent the procreative energy, number one, and the power of breathing. Generally, the word urja can be seen reflecting these two things in general. Even though the word meaning is broad, energy, power, strength, all these things can be included. Then, balam. The word meaning of balam is also strength. But balam is used in a more generalized sense. Sattva balam, dhadu balam, agni balam, dosha balam, aushadha balam. We find many contexts where this balam, we will not find that wide application of urja. So the balam can accommodate even the idea of ojas, even though ojas and balam are different. Ojas is considered more specifically as a one state, whereas balam is the potential generated by that particular state. But they are many times considered as same. In Sushruta, we find tatra rasadinam shukrandanam dhadunam yat param tejaha tad ghalu ojaha tadeva balamiti uchyate. Actually, ojas is the karanam of balam. It is not saying ojas is the karanam of balam. Hetu. It is the hetu for balam. And so Udana has a very critical role in it. The sort of, so it is the manifestation of ojas in the form of the capacity to do physical activities of all types. Capacity to do physical activities, which is a manifestation of ojas. Then we find varnam. Varnam is actually the color or complexion. Here we find that one is also attributed to Udana. Generally, it is a Agni Karma, Rupam, Varnam. But here we find it is attributed to Udana Vayu. That is very interesting. I remember some sort of discussions which were going on in our group about the Urjam, Balam. Varnam was not there in the discussion, but that is also very crucial. We will discuss that. See, sometimes we will find certain things are attributed to a particular principle, even though it is a sahakari in it. That need not be the actual doer, but it may be a sahakari. Like, see, samanaha. Annam grinnhati pachati. Actually, pajanam is not done by samanavayu. But we find the explanation as pachati. So similarly, here we find varnam. Actually, this varnam is some sort of a reflection of the balam, which in turn is related to ojas, as observed by Sushruta. What is observed by Sushruta in his 15th chapter of Sutrasthana? Tatra balena sthiropachitamam sata sarvacheshtasu apradikhatah swaravarna prasadaha bahyanam abhyandaranam chakaranam atmakarya pratipattihi. So these four sets of actions are actually the contribution of the balam. Again, that balam is ojas, And because of the association of Udana in the manifestation of Balam, here we find Varna is also written as associated to Udana. So that is very important again. That association is very important. The influence of Udana is Bala is having widespread implications. It may be, see, at this point, we may recollect one observation by Vakbhada in Vadashonita. What is that? Udano balamuchyate. Udano balamuchyate. That is also very important. And then we find Srodha Prinanam. Srodha Prinanam means Prinanam means satisfying or nourishing. So Srodha Prinanam means satisfy the Srodhas. Actually, that Prinanam, we are very comfortable with that Brahmana Kriya, and which we have attributed it to the Rasadhadu. Prinanam, Jivanam, Lepa. So we find that this statement that Srodha Prinanam is a statement in a wrong place. Actually, in this context, the Srodha Prinanatvam of Udana shall be better understood as the proper maintenance of the proper functioning of the Srodhasas connecting the Kandhanasika Nabhi. Contextually, it is the Srodha Prinanam of this pathway from the Nasika Kandham to Nabhi to make sure that this Vak Pravritti, etc., all the Ucharana sthanas are well connected. That Srodha Prinanam need not be related to the Srodha Prinanam we otherwise conceive, as in the case of Prinanam, Jivanam, Lepa, Sneho, Dharana, Purane, Brahmana Karmam, which is Shleshma Pravritti. And one more statement, Dhidhriti Smriti Manobodhanadi Kriyaha. Dhidhriti, I will complete this statement, otherwise it will be broken halfway through. Please give me another 3 or 4 minutes. Next, Dhidhriti Smriti Manobodhanadi Kriyaha. Again, a very important statement. Bodhanam. What is the meaning of Bodhanam? Bodhanam may have multiple meanings. In our context, the Bodhanam means awakening. Bodhanam is awakening. So, this is becoming a very wonderful observation. Dhidhriti smriti manobodhanadikriyaha udanaha. So, awakening the Dhidhriti, Smriti and Manas. This is an inquiry of humankind, human race from the time immemorial. How to awaken the Dhidhriti, Smriti and Manas. Volumes of textbooks are written in this regard. Even Shastra, branches of Shastra found in this regard. And here we find that Udana is doing it. Udana is doing it. The influence of Vayu on Manas, Buddhi. That is what we find reflected here. And as you all know, this is an important point of discussion in Yoga Shastra. Influence of Vayu on Manas. In Hadha Yoga Pradipika, we will find Chale Vade Chalam Chittam Nischale Nischalam Bhave. It is based on this statement that the entire art of sadhana of pranayamam is developed. So, the sadhana to tame Udana, sadhana to tame Udana could be used as the most efficient tool for awakening Manas, Dhi, Dhriti and Smriti. So, very beautifully, Vakbhada has documented that potential of Udana. Now, we will go to Vyana in our next session. So, I do not know whether there are some discussion points in chat box. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, it is just a comment, not a query. So, thank you very much. Let us look forward for the next session. It is just because of some personal inconveniences related to the hospital activities that I am forced to skip some sessions in between. Sorry for that. By to the best level possible, we will meet on our next session on next Wednesday. Thank you very much. Vishajam sadhu vrittanam bhadram agamacharinam abhyasta karmanam bhadram bhadram bhadradhilashinam.